So hello, everybody. This is the Meteor Ambassador Town Hall #1, or the Thursday Town Hall. This will start with our introduction, and then we have some prepared topics that we want to cover, after which we'll open the floor to all of you to ask questions. And we're kind of focusing on Meteor and the Meteor community, because that's why we are here for. We are all part of the Meteor Ambassador program. My name is Jan Dvorak. I am the organizer of this conference and also work with the Meteor community packages, among other things. And without further ado, allow me to introduce Leonardo Venturi and Mehdi Mahmoudi, my fellow co-panelists and also co-ambassadors. So let's start with some interaction. Leonardo, up to you.
Oh, hello. I wrote Meteor Dev Tools Evolve. It seems to be used by quite a ton of people, more than I anticipated. So yeah, I've been away from the community, Meteor community, for a few months, but now I seem to be back now. I might do additional work on the extension and some other things related to Meteor. And that's everything about me. Awesome.
Mehdi, up to you.
Yes. Hi everyone. So I started using Meteor in 2015, and I work in a web development agency that I co-founded. So I joined the program recently because I thought my contribution could be interesting in terms of bridging the gap between the sales aspect, the client explanation to the clients about how Meteor works and how to pitch Meteor, how to integrate it in the enterprise environment. So although I'm a technical developer, I prefer to contribute as an ambassador, as more of a managerial side. So yeah, nice to meet you, everyone.
Awesome. And also from Meteor Software, we have Alim Ghaffar joining us. He'll be with us shortly. This is one of the, say, issues and benefits of this conference. Hi, Alim. That's because we are spread across different time zones. So, for Alim and Leonardo, it's early morning. And with me and Mehdi, we are moving into the afternoon and evening times. So without further ado, we'll start with our first, say, question or open-ended question, which is, our personal Meteor highlights for this year. And it's kind of hard to say. Thankfully, it's many, and obviously for me, it's this conference that has been a lot of fun, and then also thankfully with everything opening, I was able to go to some conferences like the MongoDB World or the Open Source Summit in Texas, and I was able to be there as a Meteor ambassador. So got to talk with a few people about Meteor, and also was at a session about mentoring. So they made me these cards, and as you can hopefully see, it says community Meteor.js. So that was a lot of fun, and obviously more on the technical side. It was all about fibers removal and preparing to upgrade to Node 16. And beyond that, on a business, I actually am starting right now to Meteor businesses. So that's quite a challenge as well. So
why don't you tell us what those businesses are?
So one of them is called Hand by One. That is a telemarketing motivational tool for people who call you and offer you products, which I don't think is something that probably you want to hear, that they will be more motivated by our tool. But at least for the now that we have, it's just, related to the, will be actually just today. I'll have, during one of the Hangout session, I'll have to disappear for half an hour because we are having a kickoff with one of the call centers for paid demo. So I'll have to show myself to the managers there. So that's pretty good. And then the second one, a silver sponsor to this conference, is Literal Universe, which is, if you remember, have been something I've been working on for many years, and now finally we are getting officially started as a company. I've hired some designers and UX designer. We're also looking for another Meteor developer as well to help me out, because I have to do all the CEO stuff, and we are in the middle right now of getting all the papers to get our angel investors. So that's that's super stressful, and
Yeah.
especially
Where are you
everything else I do.
where are you gonna post the hiring information? Are you gonna do that in forums? Or are you gonna do
Right now the position is open at jobs.meteor.com, and also during the virtual trade show, you can reach out to Literal Universe and call me, and I will be there. We actually have a nice big picture on our company page saying that we are hiring. Also for Hand by One, it's the same, but since it's the same, or I'm can also CTO in that company, so you have to. Sadly, it's I cannot be on call for both companies. So if you go there, it says please go to Literal Universe and call Jan for more information. So if you are interested in those positions, feel free to reach out, and we can talk.
I have to say, I know a bit about call centers. Worked at a company that did virtual call centers for 6 years. And there is a large turnover at call centers. In the United States, in the cable industry, it used to be people would last maybe 18 months at best.
Yes,
before they would get, it's a very stressful job.
Yeah.
So as much as we hate talking to people there, they experience a lot of negative impact from the work they do. So
yes.
So this is interesting that you're building a motivational tool for them.
Yeah, it's part of it is like hey, you made an achievement, confetti fly or unicorns or whatever is right now in the random queue, and then there's like a game where you're actually building your own virtual call center where you have like the answering machines, and it's a lot of things. It's very strange to me because I'm not used to building games, so that's something that will be kind of coming on. So if you have also experience building Meteor game, that's fun. But one thing that kind of got is interesting in this is, and this comes back to Meteor, is I provide live statistics to the of course to the agents and to their managers, and the managers were blown away. You can have a real-time statistics about what my agents are doing. What is this dark magic? So I was like, what are you surprised about? This is kind of the standard in the, at least in the circles I am moving. So it was kind of very surprising to me to learn that sometimes they have to like even wait a week to get any, insight in what the sales is. But yeah, I think it's time for me to kind of have Mehdi or Leonardo to talk about the highlights for this year.
Sure.
So
Leonardo, why don't you pop in? Because I hear from Mehdi quite a bit. He and I have almost weekly talks. So it's nice. I'll introduce myself. My name is Olim Ghaffar. I'm the Vice President of Strategy and Community Growth over at Meteor Software. But before I had this wonderful title and position at Meteor for many years, I've just been part of the Meteor community. I've organized or co-organized the New York Meteor meetup, which for a while was either the second largest or the largest in the world. And since 2014, it's quieted down a bit, and I'm trying to move it over into this global online impact space. And so we'll be doing more of that as we go forward. But let me turn this over now to Leonardo, one of our other ambassadors. Hi, Leonardo.
Sure. Hi. I am Leo. I've worked at Passable for 3 years, and while I was there, I wrote this Chrome extension called Meteor.js Evolved. I mainly did that to help with my own job, my own daily life, and currently 4,000 other people have used that as of now. I was there for a while, then I moved on to another company which didn't use Meteor, so I was kind of this quandary. I really loved Meteor, but I am working with another tech stack. But then things happened, and now I am back in the community and working as also for another Meteor using company part-time. But yeah, on the side, I am developing this education app, and sadly, I didn't use Meteor for it, so please don't judge me. And well, my goals for this year is to help with the extension again. There are some issues there, especially some different types that they use in the documents. It's causing some issues, and also the Chrome API is changing a lot, and it's causing some huge nightmare. And that's pretty much it for me. Yeah, I am developer for about 4 years. Before that, I did business stuff, business administration stuff, and it was fun. But development is my passion. That's pretty much it.
That's terrific. What other toolkits do you use? I mean, most media developers, either they come from a different toolkit, or they start with Meteor, then they stretch out into different parts of Node.
Yeah, I've come from PHP actually, and
Wow. Old school.
there, yeah, old school. There, we were using jQuery and all the old school stuff.
Sure.
And then I worked with Meteor, and it was very fun because everything is JavaScript, and I love JavaScript and TypeScript as well. I did a ton of work with TypeScript on the side where I was at this PHP company, but I never had the chance to develop something fully real time. And Meteor kind of satisfied that for me. It was amazing the first time I saw it. And then I briefly worked at a company that used Hasura, GraphQL, and some other stuff. Meteor also supports GraphQL, of course, but they were using Hasura, Postgres, and all this kind of different stuff. And while I was there, I noticed this huge contrast. When we use Meteor, the speed is actually way faster than some other technologies. Like it might be more robust or something. I don't know. There are benefits to both, but I really love the speed that Meteor allows us to go. It's amazing for me, especially if you are an early stage startup. Going fast perhaps is the best way. There are times for both things. Perhaps there's a natural progression, I think. But yeah, and that's it. I'd not take too much of the thought.
That's okay. So when you were working with the GraphQL stuff, were you using Express as a middleware, or?
Not sure if we were using Next. I'm not sure if Next uses it behind the scenes.
Sure. No, but you're using Next.js. Okay. Very cool. Yeah. So I'm not one of those people that thinks that, you should just use Meteor and that should be the end all be all, because I think, a good developer, a good engineer has a lot of different tools and knows which ones to use when. And, but I think you're right. I think, the preference I have for Meteor is that if I have an idea and I want to build it out quickly to test the idea, I can do that with keeping the whole thing in mind and trying to get as much of it done as possible. It gets me closer to the idea as I see it in my head than with any other tool. With any other tool, I have to build all of this other stuff just so that I can start building features of that idea. And it slows you down. And sometimes, whatever you might have in your mind, like it starts to fade. You know what I mean? It's, you don't get to keep like all of the details that you have like right away, you can lose it because you're too busy figuring out how to wire something to a database or how to connect to and put together some kind of a login or authentication. And Meteor has a lot of these things out of the box. And I mean, I shouldn't say my bias is because I'm on this side of the fence here, but I want to hear what you guys have to say. So what's your favorite project that you've done so far with Meteor?
My favorite project.
Yeah, I mean, if you have, or maybe you love all your babies, I don't know.
Well, I did start a sports center management project, but I never had the opportunity to finish because life kind of moves you in a certain direction and changes course all the time. But it was an amazing experience. I was using Tailwind. It's also amazing. You can just style stuff on the fly. It's kind of very cool. And I think it's recent that Meteor kind of added support to the third version. It's very cool. And yeah, I was really loving it. But the biggest project I worked on was a Pathable, and it was huge. It was very good as well. So yeah.
And we're on Pathable right now.
No, I'm not a Pathable.
No, I'm saying the conference is on Pathable right now.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. All right. My friend from Tunisia, Mehdi, how have you been?
Good yourself. Tried to wake up early today for the first event, but just couldn't do it.
Yes, I was running around looking for my Meteor shirt. I was waiting for it to come out of the dryer. So, I ended up popping in just a little bit late. I was trying to like turn everything on, and then I realized I was on camera and in my undershirt, and I didn't have my shirt out of the dryer yet, so I had to run again. So it's early morning fiascos, But
I'm wondering how Jan has managed to be ready, present in all time zones. Like he's impressive. Like he's in
Jan is
Asia, Africa.
every year Jan does this, and then he goes to sleep for 6 days because like he does this for like 2 days straight because it's like almost 48 hours. And actually, before that, he's even prepping and doing all of this stuff. And as you know, he's meeting with speakers. He's doing previews. He's running through the platform, showing people how to use things. So the man is really, really tired after he's done, but he will stay up like for almost every single session, for all the teas, for all the socials. He is there. Even if nobody shows up, you could pop in. I did this one year. I just popped in because there was one that was at some crazy time. And he was there like talking and nobody was there, but he was there and it was great. So, Giannis talked about his experience with Meteor, and Leo has mentioned, how he has used it, and when he gets away from it, he like goes through this withdrawal like a drug addict, because Meteor is like that for him. You could see he's laughing because it's true. We know this. So tell us about your experience, because you've been using it for a very long time, and how far does that go back? And did you ever build with it or just run the agency side? Because you run an agency. Tell us about your agency and so on.
Exactly. Actually, most of the talks I'm doing during the conference are about the agency perspective of Meteor, rather non-technical.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that, I've always been an agency founder. I founded my first Ruby on Rails agency when I was 24.
Okay.
And then we did also BlackBerry apps then, and then when BlackBerry ran almost out of business, I had to shut down that project and moved on to another agency. So I just knew Ruby on Rails, knowing that I'm an electrical engineer. I'm not a software guy. I'm a rather low-level guy. And then I met by chance a person who was managing a company that is a sort of an integrated marketing tool. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's quite big. It's rather large startup. And they identified Meteor as a potential interesting technology to implement real-time scenarios.
And how far back was that?
2015, January 2015. Yeah.
So we're like at what, 1.2
Yeah.
around then? Okay, yeah.
Exactly. And the idea for this project was to, they had a lot of modules in their platform because it's a huge platform. And one of the projects had to be built from scratch. And one of the projects had to be forked from famous Meteor projects like Rocket Chat.
Okay.
So they need the chat module. So we forked Rocket Chat. We forked We Can, if you know it. I don't know if it's a Trevor.
Yeah, I remember We Can.
Back in the days, and we had to re-engineer some parts of the code so that it fits in the platform in terms of events and API and signals. And we also built,
if I remember correctly, We Can is like a Trello type application. Yeah.
I reckon that the name changed at some point because there was a legal issue or something. So
okay.
And then we also forked Telescope, which is Sasha's project for Help Desk or Forum. So we did all that, and we had to go through different types of implementation, different philosophies, plugin architecture or simple architecture. Blaze back then, we had to learn Blaze from scratch, etc. Especially Rocket Chat wasn't that simple at the time.
Yeah.
But I loved with all this because I met Meteor the hard way. It was my first Node.js project with my team. I had a team of 2.
Did you guys build your own routing, or did you use Iron Router or Flow Router?
Flow and Iron Router, depending on the project. Back then, it was the only available tool for beginners like us. And the end customer for this project was none other than large retail firm, very known in the US. And I think I can't use the name. I don't know. So it was a huge company that was using the software for its marketing department with thousands of users. So we had scalability issues. Like I was not even 6 months into my journey in Meteor, and then we had a problem, and a very large account in the UK was complaining because the Kanban board was too lagging. So we had
Is this the American company with the multi-billionaire family?
Exactly, that's this one.
Okay, that's in
yellow and blue logo.
Okay.
So what happened is that we were new in the technology, and we had to re-engineer like the publications, etc., to optimize it, and we survived. And after that, we left that project, started doing our first React Native Meteor-backed project in 2016. That was a very long time ago. And then when the agency started doing better, we started hiring more people, but we had a lot of resistance to Meteor from developers, especially when at some point we were 17 of us before COVID. We were 17, and nobody wanted to use Meteor except the founder and the old developer because they loved it. It's one of the topics for which I have a talk that will be held tomorrow. How to manage JS developers who like or don't like Meteor.
Okay.
So that was a challenge. Another challenge was that starting from 2018 with the digital revolution number 3 or number 4, even startup founders who are a large part of our customer segment, so people who have an idea, have a budget, have, let's say, raised some love money, they want to do an MVP. Even them started to be aware in terms of Node.js technologies, and they thought, oh, Meteor, this is dead. It's not maintained, or we don't know the company. The people who are working the company are not there anymore. So there was a lot of misconceptions to decode, and it was hard to sell Meteor as a project. Although I loved Meteor because I knew it could solve issues as you and Federico just said in ways that none other technology could do it. And this is where I developed more skills in selling Meteor projects to people. And one of the important parts that I learned is that before selling, you need to know to who you are selling to and why they want to do the project. So this is a topic from the last talk I had this morning. So yeah, to wrap it up, I love coding on Meteor, even for my personal projects, but I mainly manage people who need to learn Meteor, and I also manage customer leads who need to be convinced to pay for Meteor projects. And this is what I do as an ambassador, actually.
That's great. That's great. So, so you're giving these three talks, and I think one of the things that you said that you're interested in doing also as an ambassador is doing conferences, right, outside of just Impact or Meteor meetups. So you know, are you constrained in terms of regional travel or anything like that for giving these conferences?
It depends, not really. It's just a matter of time and logistics. But usually, if I plan them ahead, usually it's quite smooth.
Yeah.
But I usually prefer, to be honest, I enjoy working with. I enjoy working with developers a lot, but what I enjoy more is startup entrepreneurs.
Right.
For me, the reason why I work in an agency, it's because I think that startup entrepreneurs, especially good ones, are continuous stimulation for your brain because they have so many great ideas all the time. And I would love to have the chance to do more conferences in either startup hubs or incubators or accelerators with some use cases that I actually do have, even with large firms, that demonstrate how Meteor is not just a garage thing to do in your next idea, in the garage. It could be used for actual business projects, and this is what I will be trying to do within the ambassador program.
Excellent, excellent. So, do you have any current Meteor projects that you're working on right now? And can you tell us something about it? If not the client, at least like some parameters, like what the client is like, what the industry is, et cetera, et cetera.
Yes. So about a year ago, after having survived COVID, we thought, okay, so what are our customers? We need to position ourselves. We can't, do everything. So our customers usually are either startup founders willing to do an MVP or mid-sized firms. When I say mid-sized, between 100 and 500 employees who want to transform a process, as a digital solution. And within the MVP segment, there was a lot of people who are doing something related to entertainment or content management. So for all these, we decided not to use Meteor because there are other choices. One of them, to be fair and mention other technologies, one of them is called Strapi. It's a Koa-based technology for content solutions. It's a headless framework. So we position ourselves like this. So if people want content-related projects, Strapi is quite good. Yeah. If people want to be agile, lean, real-time features, classic features like single sign-on, API integration, and quick time to market, Meteor, no questions. Sometimes we have startup entrepreneurs who already have a technology and they want to take it to the next level or build something really fast. For that, it's hard to, to struggle and convince them of Meteor. We have to propose another solution in order to be able to sell. So we use usually Express-like stacks, but for us, our favorite, it's Happy. So these are the three technology we use, and that's it. So regarding Meteor, the people who buy Meteor projects from us are usually in the digital transformation segment. They are construction related firms. Why? It's because I think that reason number one, the construction field is a bit outdated in terms of digital transformation. So they are seeking to go further. Second, it's one of the rare fields that wasn't really impacted by COVID because they sell long-term projects, they have cash, and they are ready to do something. So now we have two construction firms who have more than 200 employees. For them, we are doing one of them. We are doing a tool for managing projects and tasks and optimizing optimizing the schedules and
Yeah.
cost tracking. And for the other, we're doing a warehouse and supply chain solution.
Okay.
Another type of firm that we work with is accountants.
Okay.
Exactly the same reason. So accountants, they survived COVID better than anyone else. They are a bit lagging behind, so sometimes they're trying to digitalize themselves, and this is why we work with them. So these are pretty much the segments we work with right now.
Yeah. So you find that digital transformation companies that are sort of like in legacy technologies haven't really made the transformation into digital workspaces and workflows. Those are big opportunities today.
Yes, they're actually safe opportunities for Meteor developers. If you are a freelancer or if you are a small agency, betting on a corporate client who's doing a digital transformation project, it's safer for you from a budget perspective than betting on a startup that is doing the next big B2C thing. Maybe it's easier, it's harder to, because when you sell to companies like that, you will have a tender call, an audit, and a lot of things, but once you go past that storm, it's so easy to go far.
Yeah.
Whereas the startup customers, that maybe you can meet the founder for a beer and then that's it, it's sold, but then the nightmare might begin, in 3 months. So I would say that if you want to monetize your expertise in Meteor, go to your city, try to detect if you have, for example, a wood transformation factory or any other healthy firm, family firm with 100, 200 employees, and go pitch to them your idea of how you can help them optimize their work. You do that like a couple of times a year, and you already have a stable revenue. With that, I think with Meteor, that's what I said this morning in the talk. With the Meteor, you can recycle a lot of know-how and common use cases to optimize your revenues.
That's really good to know. And so, having this sort of a discipline about how you target who your customer might be, looking at where they are and the need that they have to go forward. And I'm assuming that also it's a little bit of a hard sell. The reason that many of these companies haven't done the digital transformation is they haven't seen the benefit, or they think the cost is too high. And so, they're afraid also because they don't have the internal expertise, right? So if it's going to take 6 to 10 months to deliver something that they can see, they're more reluctant. But if you can do something like with Meteor and show them something within 6 weeks, that's even better. And I think you said that there's some cases where you've delivered even earlier, right?
Exactly, and we had the chance to revamp one system in the past, and we did it so quickly. And the project took 1.5 years, wasn't even completed. Then when we got in with Meteor, we did the first release within 3 months, and the client was impressed, reassured. And that's what I said today in the talk. When they are reassured, they will extend the contract with you, not just say, "Okay, thank you, bye."
Yeah.
Another.
I don't want to exhaust your talk in this right now.
I have a nice example on this as well.
Sure,
for example, with Han by One, that is something that pretty much, the CEO came to me that, their developer on this had a mental breakdown, and they need the project in production on Monday for onboarding people. And I think it was Thursday. So I sat on it and pretty much after work on Thursday, Friday, I worked on it, and of course all weekend. But in the end, I managed to deliver it on time. Sunday, around midnight, I was doing the deploys to Galaxy to get everything ready. And so
was that the project you were working on that weekend when I called you and you were like stressing out?
Maybe.
It was sometime in this either late winter or spring.
It was in the spring. Yeah, it was.
Spring,
It must have been April.
Yeah.
So that was fun. So, well, it's not something I want to repeat anytime soon. Let's just put it that way.
Do you feel that if you were using some other tool, and you're pretty well versed with different tools, that you could have made that delivery as quickly, or?
In no way.
Right.
First off was the account system.
Yeah.
That saved me a couple of weeks probably of development
Yeah.
to get it on. Also, I cheated a little bit because I used my own boilerplate. But I had to like pretty much strip most of it out. But for the most part, I had it, put that in, and then started. I then just went directly to building the feature of the
Yeah.
app, not to worry about the user systems or anything else around that. Just went straight to building that, and that was super nice.
Leo, do you have a boilerplate also that you use to get started?
Nope. I normally start out with React and Meteor because I am a huge fan of React. But I've never thought about creating something for my own.
Ryan Glover, the guy that was he used to run the Meteor Chef, had a couple of different boilerplates. One was called Pup. I forgot what the other one was called. But I know that it's interesting that Jan, you mentioned this because I guess that speeds things up when you get started. I know, Mehdi, you mentioned that your company over the years has developed a fairly sophisticated boilerplate that you use to start your projects. So I was just curious how many of you actually work with boilerplates. So you've got two that work with boilerplates that have developed their own boilerplates, and then Leo just goes right from the ground up.
Yeah, it's mostly because I don't start projects very often. I tend to work them on a longer period of time.
Okay, so do you think that it's probably a good practice, I guess, if you're doing it often enough, right? Just to have something to get started with. So Leo, I didn't get a chance because I do speak to Jan a lot, partly because Jan is like, Jan and I used to work together on Meteor New York. When he was here in New York City, we were organizers together, and then we became friends, and so we have lots of conversations together. Mehdi and I have just been chatting a lot because he does the business side, which is a little unusual for all the other among all the ambassadors. He's I think the one that's most focused on the business side. Everybody else is either a developer or they do development and the business simultaneously. So you and I have not had a lot of chances to chat very much about these things over your period. So just we have and I will be talking about this tomorrow in the keynote, building the embassy, about the ambassador program, how we developed it, where it came from, challenges we encountered, and how it's being run right now. So anybody that's interested in learning more about that and might want to become an ambassador at the next round, I'm happy to have you join us for that talk. But what was your interest in becoming an ambassador, and what do you think you've been able to accomplish having that, or do you think that there's still things that you need to do that you haven't gotten to yet? So and I'll pass it on to the others.
That's a question for me, right? Yeah.
Yeah, right now, yeah, you start.
Okay. Well, I didn't candidate myself to be an ambassador. I kind of was invited and forced into it. So, well, most of my work is related to the extension regarding the Meteor community. I don't have time to kind of write articles and stuff and I'm not very good a public speaker. I think I want to develop that. I started recording videos for YouTube and stuff. So my goal is to dedicate my time as much as possible to help with the extension, which many people use it, and it kind of changes all the time. It's crazy. And also we have a Firefox version that was kind of a small contribution from a friend of mine, and it's also needed to be maintained. And yeah, I want to be more helpful in the following months than I have been, because my life was crazy in the last few months. I got married, a person crashed into my car. It's crazy. It's a roller coaster.
At the same time that you were getting married, they crashed into your car?
Yeah, actually, the day before I was married, I was laid off, so there was that as well.
Oh, no. That's crazy. Oh, that sucks.
Yeah,
Listen, you mentioned that somebody helped you work on the Firefox extension. Are you looking to find others that might be interested in joining your open source project?
definitely. The more, the merrier.
Can you just put the GitHub into the chat of
Sure.
where the project is, just in case anybody might be interested in
Sure.
in signing up on that? And yeah, so I guess there's lots of ways to do outreach, right? So the majority and the focus I have for most of the ambassadors is twofold, right? One is outreach to outside of our community to let people who don't really know very much about Meteor learn about it. And we do that through videos, through writing, right? And also through going to outside conferences and just letting people know about it. The other part is retention. It's people that join the community. It's like, okay, now that they're in, like, how do we keep them here, right? We welcome them. People ask for help. We try to make sure that we have good people that are responding, and we have a very good community. I think, Sasha has said, and Arunoda has come back and said not too long ago that one of the things they miss the most about Meteor, when you hear these guys, and even Dan Descaluso, I think, mentioned this. It's the community that they feel that that was really something that they miss more about Meteor, more than technology, is the community itself, the people that are here, and how we help each other. So I think it's really nice that we have people like you that are contributing by building tools that you don't ask for any money for, and others get the benefit from using it to help check on their code and make sure that it's working properly, and be able to track down where they might have problems and how to optimize it. And so thank you for doing that, and continuing to work on it, even though you got laid off, which sucks. But are you looking for something, or do you have something right now? Are you working with Pathable right now, right?
No, I am working with Pave, Felipe's company.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Yeah. And multi APM. I'm not sure if I am allowed to say it. Multi APM, actually. Yes.
Well, you said it twice, so
Yeah.
so why don't you say it again? It's fine. I don't think we at Meteor have a problem with you saying that, unless Zodern has a problem with you saying it. So, but it's a great tool. It's a very useful tool. I think we all think that Zodern has done a really great job of taking that code and making improvements and making it a really outstanding product. So he should be proud of it, and the community should be happy to use it. So, that's my own view about that.
Yeah, rightly so. I just want to quickly interject here with just a few technical. If you in the audience, if you have any question, please write them down into the chat. We'll be happy to address them. Or if it's like longer question, use the Zoom feature to raise your hand, and then we'll invite you on our virtual stage to ask that question. So with that said, I have kind of, we have quite a few questions here.
Oh,
So
cool.
I would like to ask, actually, no, this is from our kind of preparing to give people time to ask. And we have, pretty much, I want to ask everybody thoughts on fiber removal, which is the big thing that's coming up with Meteor, or starting with Meteor 2.8 and going on to Meteor 3.0, which will be Node 16 upgrade. And for me, I'm going to say I don't have any worries. The only worry that I have is that with technology, especially with complex stuff like this, it always takes longer than one would like or anticipate. So that's my only worry. And in myself, once the time comes to upgrade the app, okay, that's will be the time I'll have to take to do it. But I'm already kind of, looking beyond that. What will be the next steps? After that. And for example, I've noticed there is like an npm issue that will also have to address once the upgrade to Meteor 3.0 is going to be worked on, or Node 16 in the background. And then there's a lot of other interesting things to address after that.
I think we have Radek in the audience. I don't know if he wants to pop in, but I think he can very, very succinctly explain the issue to some of the people that might not understand why we are doing this, why it's important.
I think given the time, I think let's leave it for his keynote that he has tomorrow.
I just didn't know if it could,
Yeah, I'm not looking here for technical stuff. I'm just
no,
I
just
think. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about the context, right? Because the thing is, like, some people understand what fibers are, and some people don't even understand what you're talking about. So, why there's a change, and what's this change, and why is it
oversimplify it. Fibers is that allows pretty much the synchronous behavior in Meteor, so that we don't have to put everywhere async await. And the problem is that in Node 16, which we need to upgrade to, it no longer works, and the maintainer behind Fibers has decided not to continue it. So we need to remove it from Meteor and adopt await async and other similar patterns.
Yeah.
So I'll leave it to my other co-panelists to express how they, more generally how you feel about it. And I was like, with Mehdi, I can imagine that it might be scary for some developers to come, oh, you're making this major big change inside Meteor.
Yeah. Well, I believe also that the team is planning to make this, not a hard changeover, right? They're going to maintain some of the old APIs for the people that are going to continue to use prior to Node 16. So it wouldn't break things necessarily, my understanding, right? But somebody else, I'm sure I'm probably missing some element here, which is why I thought perhaps somebody on the team might be able to just summarize it very quickly. But are there other issues and questions that you're seeing on your list that you want to get to right now?
I think the biggest question that probably is on everybody's lips, and I've kind of seen it as I went through to the survey, preparing it for my talk later today, which I would recommend. There is some interesting upsets, to say the least, that I did not expect to see. And that is, how are things going in the community in general? And one of the, things that people are saying that needs to be improved is, kind of they want to see more of a leadership. So I would kind of want to get people's opinion on this.
And that's leadership in terms of where? In terms of Meteor software, or in terms of
in terms of community
okay,
in specific. So it was like, it was just like, one word. There was the question, what do you think the community should work on improving? And there were a couple of answers that just said leadership. So kind of curious what Mehdi and Leonardo, their thoughts on this and Meteor community in general.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious whether or not they view leadership in terms of like just a single person or a small group of people, or can that be like a collective leadership, right? More like a council. What the view would be on that. I'm interested to hear and see what people are thinking about.
So, Leonardo,
yes,
take it up.
My opinion is quite short, but I think that things changed over the years. As Alim said, we shifted from icons, really nice people like Aruna or Sasha, to more of community projects. So for example, the Meteor community packages didn't exist in the past. And today we see that it's vibrant, it's existing. And also there was there was a major update on several packages that we thought dead, and today they are alive again, and it's reassuring. So the community as a whole, and I know that you are part of this effort, Jan, that's why you're smiling. Personally, if I try to look at it objectively, as in risk management, you know, I see that it's not risky, it's safe. Other technologies that are very popular are not that well maintained in some areas. I won't cite the names. Regarding the icons, it would be interesting to have icons again in the community, but I'm really neutral on this. I won't be that convinced because there's an icon. I would be more convinced to see that there's work going on with many people.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't want to inject an opinion on this. Like I said, I want to understand, you know, what the thinking is for the people that have hit leadership as an issue, because I think it's really important that we understand, you know, what are the dimensions that they're thinking about, and where are we not as a group hitting this. It may be that we are just far more diffuse right now, and so the leadership is not really apparent. I think there is leadership, but it's spread. Like, you know, different people own different things, and they collaborate. So it may not be so obvious, but maybe there's something else beyond that is not apparent to me, and is a real issue, and needs to be seen. Maybe the defect is that it's not necessarily that there aren't people that are owners, but maybe it's you know, from a projection point of view, in terms of, okay, you know, we have a lot of people working on things, but I really don't know who I need to go to, or who is the person that is actually kind of like making sure that we have a vision going forward. So again, I don't know what the background is to those words, and it would be helpful to have a better understanding of what that is. So hopefully during the conference, the people that put that together will be so kind as to elaborate a bit. If they want to do it anonymously, I think we can find a means for them to do so. This is not to make anybody feel uncomfortable. It's really we want to succeed as a community, and we need everybody's input to do so. So, you know, when we hear things, we want to understand it better, so we can figure out how to make sure that we are meeting expectations. Yeah. So is there anybody from the audience that wants to ask a question? Because it would be nice to hear.
Yes.
voices.
And also we must not forget give space to Leonardo as well to answer this question.
Yes, please.
Sure. Well, over the years, I think I've worked on the Meteor ecosystem for 3 years that I was affable, and I noticed several changes, and there were a lot of improvements regarding leadership and kind of the community self-organizing, also efforts from the Meteor team as well. And it was amazing to see. It was kind of like the phoenix being reborn, and that was very cool. But one thing that I kind of have a feeling about is that when people talk about leadership, when they kind of say, I want a better leadership about something, perhaps it's more about communication. They don't feel themselves heard or something. I was at a company that didn't know what they were doing, and that kind of was the main factor that made they hire people. They didn't have the right product. So I think communication is kind of the bridge between you building the right product, and it's been improved a lot over the years, and perhaps that's something that will also need to be improved a lot as well. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Then yeah, definitely. You know, if there's a defect that's spotted, and if it's in communication, what about the communication? Is it the frequency? Is it the type of communication? Is it the opportunity, as you might be suggesting, that people that are in the community don't feel that they can get their voices heard? How we can make that happen? I think we're all open to this. We don't all have answers. So if you have some suggestion and to make it happen and to make it better, please suggest. And if it's something that's doable and that is not going to be very burdensome, then we will try it. You know, I think we're all open to it. You know, and I leave that a lot to Jan, because I mean, to me, Jan is, you know, sort of like the moving force behind the community packages group. So when I think about a lot of that, I think about Jan. You know, not only does he do that, but he also takes care of, you know, putting together this conference, right? So he tries to tie the whole thing together, and he needs help, and he doesn't have every answer. He's done a lot of really great stuff, and he continues to do great stuff, but he's one guy, and we all need help. So, you know, this is our community. We should feel comfortable with saying, you know, that, all right, this needs improvement. But don't just say this needs improvement, suggest an improvement. Like, come with something, because like, if we haven't figured it out ourselves, maybe we just don't have the imagination for it, right? So if you notice that there's something missing and we're not doing it, then come with a suggestion, because we need it. Okay, and I think we might be at time now.
Yes, we have a quick question. I think this is more, Alim, towards you. Any plan to promote the use of Meteor in Africa? Just before you answer that, I'll add that this year in the survey, I've noticed that there has been an increased usage of Meteor in Africa. At least the people who have answered are from Africa. There's more countries have turned up compared to last year, so
Yeah,
definitely increasing there.
this is a good question, and in my presentation on Meteor in 2030, I'll be talking about what we've noticed as sort of the demographic rise in use in non-developed countries for Meteor, and the things that Meteor will have to do going forward to accommodate that. So in terms of support in Africa, I think we have to figure out what that means exactly. Almost every region that we have any advocacy going on, meetups and so on, it's done at the local level. So Meteor as a company doesn't really run any meetups, right? We basically partner with local leaders to support their meetups, and that's what they do. And so, you know, we just, you know, if we're not there, we don't have expertise in the area. We don't know who the people are. We don't know, you know, where the resources are. So it's a very difficult task for us to be able to do something globally this way. And our company is globally distributed. So we have many people in Brazil, in Europe. Most of our developers are digital nomads. I've learned this phrase recently. They basically wander from country to country. So, you know, we are not exactly like located in any one place. Meteor is headquartered in Vancouver, in Canada. It used to be in California, in Silicon Valley, but it has changed when Tiny took it over. So I don't have an easy answer on that. I would say if you want to do something in Africa and you're thinking about how you build a community, reach out to either me at Alim, A-L-I-M, at Meteor.com, or reach out to Fred at Meteor.com. And Fred is probably going to, you know, shoot me for sticking his name. Fred is our CEO. So just reach out to one of us, and we'll see what we can do to help you connect to the people that you need to talk to, if we can't give you the help directly ourselves.
Knowing that we are based in Africa as well.
So there you go. That's the other thing too. Use our ambassadors. We have 10 ambassadors, and they are also globally spaced. And Mehdi is in Tunisia, which is in North Africa. So maybe that's one other resource that you can also reach out to. So yeah, if you want to, just why don't you type in the chat so that Mehdi can see your contact information, or Mehdi, maybe you could put your contact information in the chat, so anybody that wants to you know, reach you, they can find you. Okay, so there it is.
Okay.
And Leo, could you put your project in the chat before we go?
Yeah, and
Sure.
with that, we are way over the time, but it's fine. So with that, thank you very much for joining us on this first Ambassador Town Hall. We have another one tomorrow as well with some changes in the group. Looking forward to see you there and check out our talks. Okay, everybody, nice meeting you, and yeah, talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.